Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Punjabication from chapter 10 to the end. Can we chant that?
Yes, Swamiji. The 10th and
Chapter 10. Yeah.
10. Okay. Sahanavavatu, Sahanau Punattu, Sahabhijyam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. न कञ्चन वसतो प्रत्यासक्षीद तत्प्रदं तस्माद्यया गया न विद्या बह्वन्न प्राप्नुयात् अराध्यस्म अन्नमित्या चक्षते एतद्वै मुगधोः नगुम्रातं मुगधोस्म अन्नगुम्राद्यते एतद्वै मध्यदोः नगुम्रातम् मध्यदोस्मा अन्नगं राध्यते एतद्वै मध्य एतद्वा अन्तदोऽन्नगं रातम् अन्तदोस्मा अन्नगं राध्यते य एवं वेद क्षेम इति वाचि योगक्षेम इति प्राणापानयोः कर्मेति हस्तयोः गतिरिति पादयोः विमुक्तिरिति पायौ इति मानुषीः समाख्या अथ दैवीः तृप्तिरिति विष्णौ बलमिति विद्युति यश इति पशुषु ज्योतिरिषि नक्षत्रेषु प्रजाति समृतमानन्दमित्युपस्थे सर्वमित्याकाशे तत्प्रतिष्ठेत्युपासीत प्रतिष्ठावान् भवति तन्मह इत्युपासीत महान् भवति तन्मन इत्युपासीत मानवान् भवति तन्नम इत्युपासीत गम्यन्ते स्मै कामाः तद्ब्रह्मेत्युपासीत ब्रह्मवान् भवति तद्ब्रह्मण परिमर इत्युपासीत पर्येणं दृशन्ते दुषन्तः सपत्नाः पर्ये प्रिया भ्रातृव्या स यश्चायं पुरुषे यश्चासावादित्ये स एकः स एवं विधि अस्माल्लोकात् प्रेत्य एतमन्नमयमात्मा उपसङ्क्रम्य एतं प्राणमयमात्मान उपसङ्क्रम्य एतं मनोमयमात्मान उपसङ्क्रम्य एतं विज्ञानमयमात्मान उपसङ्क्रम्य एतमानन्दमयमात्मान उपसङ्क्रम्य इमान् कामान् क्रोमान्निलो कामरूप्यनुसञ्चरन् एतत्सामगायन्नास्ते ऊहा ऊहा ऊ अहमन्नमहमन्नमहमन्नम् अहमन्नादो सुखमन्नादो सुखमन्नाद अहक् श्लोककृते अहमस्मि प्रथमजारुदा च पूर्वं देवे यो अमृतस्य न भाई यो मा ददासि स्वाइदेव वा अहमन्नमन्नमदन्तमा अहं विश्वम्भुवनमद्य भव सुवर्णज्योतिः एवं वेद इत्युपनिषद् सहनावतु सहनौ पुनत्तु सह वीक्षं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, that we have chanted the whole to the end of the Upanishad. Let us see how much we can do this time. Okay, today's class. So now, as we said, after having revealed the truth, etc., he is talking about various upasanas to get your mind ready. A lot of upasanas are given, a lot of disciplines are given. Can you follow every one of them? Nope, not meant to. You take one or two and follow them, because there lots of it is given. What you need for your mind, that is what is being done. So here some of the traditional things are given. There are modern versions of the same thing also, because remember one thing, it's something to be done with your mind. Therefore, there are 100 ways of doing it. It's not that this is the only way. Can the Upanishads mention every way? No. Gives a few indications. And a Sampradaya teacher will create some different disciplines also. Because what is necessary for the student in front, keeping the time factor, everything into consideration, the life into consideration, keeping all that in mind, you will create something. That is also done. That's also done. So, it is not that only this, okay? But these are traditional ones that is given, yeah. So, one of them, okay? Na kanchana vasataha pratyachikshita. You will not refuse shelter to anyone. This was specially valid in times, even couple of 100 years back, where there were no hotels. There were no hotels. So, travelers, yatris, going for the Kumbh Mela from Bombay. I see a lot of people making plans. Some of you are going for the Kumbh Mela, will take a flight, go there, have a quick dip, this, that, stay one night and come back next day. Nowadays it's possible. Those days, you planned in advance. It will take 1 month to walk up to there. Or go on a bullock cart or something, a horse carriage. It will take time. Where do you stay for the night? So, people who are well off had special houses built, chowltries built, okay, rest houses built. Or some people took them into their own house. Like how you have nowadays bed and breakfast places. Yeah. So those days it was done free, okay? No charge. You don't book in advance. You landed up in a place, you looking around for a place to stay, you found a place. They welcomed you, stayed. What they could share food, etc. with you, they could. Therefore, he says, Tad vratam, that's a vratam. Now, these two terms you will hear, someone had asked me about it. What is vratam and what is tapas? Generally, a vratam is taken for a certain period of time. Navaratri vratam. For 9 days, you will take a vratam. You will eat only once, or you will eat only fruits. Certain limitations you will put on yourself in terms of diet, in terms of worship. You will attend all worship, this, that, etc. So, that is a vratam. Shivrati vratam, 1 night. A vratam for Janmashtami. That is generally the case. Generally. And what is the difference between that and tapas? Tapas is meant for a certain goal to achieve. Goal can be internal or external. Bhagirath tapas. Bhagirath did tapas to bring Ganga down to earth. All the way from to receive the Ganga at Gomukh and all the way to Ganga Sagar, and then from there to Patala. The tapas. How long will you do that tapas? Until the goal is achieved. Then there are certain vratams, like this, what is mentioned here, which are lifelong. Which are lifelong. As long as you have the ability to do it, you will do it. And generally, these vratams like this were carried forward family to family, okay? Meaning from generation to generation in the same family. That was also done. Yeah. After the fathers was too old to do it, the son took it up. Yeah. Or it stopped at there. That's also fine because it is a father's vratam, not necessarily the son's. Okay. Not necessarily. Sometimes it was. Okay. Yeah. So that is it. Therefore, he says, Tasmad yaya kayacha vidhaya bahuvannam prapnuyat. Now, if you are giving shelter, you can't just say, here is a room, you can sleep. They travelled whole day and come, offer them some food, some hot food, offer them something in the morning before they leave. How can you let somebody stay hungry in your house? Yeah, that is the idea behind also Atiti Devo Bhava. Be one for whom the Atiti is like a god. Lord has come to you in this form. So, seva. So, by whatever means, make whatever means dharmic means, okay, understood. Not steal and rob and things. Dharmic means, yeah, create food. Yeah. Let there be always food for someone who drops in without an appointment. Let there be food for one person. Yeah. In fact, in many villages there was this tradition. People who are well off at lunch and dinner times, they would open the door and call out, is there anyone who wants a meal? Announced. Now, I find similar practices recently started, meaning 20-30 years, in some European cities. In the restaurants and coffee houses, they pay forward for a coffee. You are going for a coffee, you have a coffee, you pay forward, you pay for two. And say, anyone who wants a coffee and doesn't have the money to pay, please give him this coffee. Good practice coming up. Good practice. Because in India, when you are traveling, or anywhere in the world in those days, how much food can you carry? How much food can you carry? You have to get what is locally available, and there are no restaurants, no hotels. You can't buy food. In India, food was never sold. Restaurant business came in the last 100 years. Food was never sold. Why? Everybody has a right to eat here. It's a fundamental right. It's a human right. So all the countries that lecture us on human rights, take care of your starving people first. You're wasting too much of food. Everyone has a right to eat. How can you deny anyone food? How can you take money for food? That was the idea. In fact, 3 generations back, when restaurants started, parents would not like to get their children married to a house where they were running a restaurant. Then they're selling food, not good. Nowadays, hoteliers are big people, okay? You want to get into the paisa bahut hai. They make a lot of money. That is situational changes that happen. You can't apply those principles now or these principles. Things change. Okay, that's okay. Thank God there are hotels and this thing. Yeah. So that now travel is faster, travel is easier. Different times, different cultures. Therefore, this is what it was. It became a vratam, a discipline for people. Share food. That is good. That is a good point about it. Why? Because nobody goes hungry. Yeah. In fact, as late as 1835, okay, when the Britisher visited India, he said, I travelled the length and breadth of India, I didn't find one beggar. Can you imagine that? 1835. Yeah. That's less than 200 years ago. Not one beggar. Even today, you go to Punjab, you won't find beggars. Punjab is one state in India, you won't find beggars. Why? Langar chal raha hai. All gurudwaras have langars, go eat. Yeah. Food is available. Yeah. That's how it is. Okay. Yeah. That Annadanam was a big thing in India. Therefore, that becomes a vratam for you, a discipline for you. Spiritual discipline. Open up your heart. In fact, Kabir asking the Lord for wealth. So he says in his Doha, Sai itna dijiye. Sai means Lord, okay? Sai itna dijiye, jisse sukh safaye. Where I am comfortable. I don't want a lot of wealth. I just want to be comfortable. Everyone says that I want to be comfortable. But what is the level of comfort he is asking for? Hum to bhukha na rahe, sadhu bhi bhukha na jaye. I will not go hungry, and the good man who comes to my door wanting food, he will also not go hungry. Yeah. In fact, there are people who take this discipline very seriously. You know, there is a time when we used to do the Gomukh trek. Small trek, it's an easy trek from Gangotri to Gomukh. Now, of course, there are this Nigam government has put a small rest house there and things like that. Just before Gomukh, 4 kilometers short of Gomukh, where you can stay overnight. But in my times, when I went there, there's nothing. And it's 18 kilometers from Gangotri. So it's very difficult to go and come back the same day. The last 4 kilometers are tough terrains up to the glacier. So the night we used to stop at Lal Baba's ashram. What is the ashram? 2-3 rooms, that's all. One room you would stay, and he had 2 other rooms. Okay? And you stay there. Stay there is an empty room. Okay, you better carry your sleeping bags or whatever you want to carry. It's an empty room. But he would give everyone khichdi. Hot khichdi. Ah, bahut maja aaya. Even now he is there, but now he is not so popular except among sadhus. Sadhus will still go and stay with them. Yeah. Because the Nigam, Garhwal Vikas Nigam has come up there. Yeah. In fact, I think Satish Bhai and all has come with me to Gomukh. I know Shraboni's mother has come there and we stayed there.
Yes, my mother
Yeah.
has gone.
And we stayed there in the Nigam place.
Yeah.
I'm talking even before that, okay, when I was a student there. Yeah. Okay. So these are all the certain disciplines people took up. Because it meant certain commitment. It meant opening up your heart to strangers, having a care for strangers. Then that Sarvatma Bhava, I am everything, etc. is easier to have. The more exclusive you try to make yourself, the more isolation that you try, the more difficult it is to understand Vedanta. I remember this case. I was talking in a place in Bandra. I was a sort of a guest speaker. Somebody had called me for a session. So there were some expats there. And this person says, it is a great building, okay? 4 wings, but only 1 flat per wing. So completely, you are isolated from everyone else because there is no neighbor. Neighbor is the next wing. You have to go down and come up again. And this lady tells me, I find it very disturbing here. I said, why? What is disturbing you? There are so many people around. I said, whom do you ever see except on the ground floor? When you are going out, you will see. Do you see anybody else? You don't even have a neighbor. No, but I know now there are so many people. I said, wow, Baba. Thank God I don't have to teach them Vedanta. Be so isolated. As it is, we are isolated. Privacy is one thing, isolation is another. Privacy is so that you don't want others to know what you are doing. That's understandable. Isolation is different. It makes you feel lonely. Yeah. And that's a human problem. Loneliness is a human problem. Yeah. Anyway, it's okay. Okay, therefore, aradhyam annamiti akshate. Okay. Then he says something. He says, if you are offering food very early in life means what? After you have set up your home, you have become a grahastha. Okay? Because as a brahmachari, you are living on alms. Okay? As a brahmachari, you are a receiver. As a grahastha, okay, you got married, you set up home. Okay? You got married, you set up home, and you started this rata. He says, because you started early, okay, mukha etadvai mukhantre radam mukha tasma samaha annam radite. Therefore what? Food will come to you early in life. Food meaning everything that you want. The avantara phalam. We are concerned with the main phalam, taking care of your mind, your heart, opening up. The secondary result is punya papa. What you give comes back to you. There's a nice article in some news item. California fires. In the California fires, some celebrity houses were saved. Though their neighbors were burned down, they were saved. And all these people whose houses were saved were people who were doing a lot of charity work. So the California fires didn't touch their houses. Neighbor's house is gone, my house is bach gaya. Oh. So that article raised the question, is written by a foreigner, not by an Indian, okay? Did the good that they do come back to them? Of course they'll come back to them. For Indians there is nothing big deal. So similarly here, if you are done, offered food, etc., in early stages in life, right from early you will get all the things you want. Yeah, all the things that you want, you will get. All the things that you want, you will get. Yeah, early in life. Punya papa, the whole question is only punya papa, okay? You will get early. Avantar, secondary result. Okay. Madhyata asma annam radate etadvanantaram. Madhyataha. If you have waited early life, you are setting up life, you don't have money to do all these things, so little later you did. Then you will get all the things little later in life. Then he goes further, you do it in the end of their life, you will get it at the end of your life. But Swamiji, that's not fair, because unless I make money, how can I give money? Barabar hai. It's not a question of how much you have, it's a question of how big your heart is. A rich man is not someone who's a billionaire. A rich person is someone who has money for himself and money for others. None of us are so poor that we can't give a helping hand to someone. And none of us are so rich that we do not need a helping hand. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. Hey, living on Bhiksha in Rishikesh. No money? No. अरे यार, एक साबुन चाहिए था. You needed a cake of soap. Where do you get? You don't have the money in your pocket to buy a soap. अरे हमारा पास है ना, I have ना. 2 रुपये है हमारा पास. 1 रुपये तू ले ले. I have $2. Take $1. You will get a soap from there. Yeah. That guy is rich. Why? He's got money for himself. He's got money to give. All he has got is only $2. Okay. Heart is rich. That's what you need to have. Hey, I'm not saying don't look in for financial, give up your financial intelligence, don't create security for your family, etc. I'm not saying all that thing. No. Please do. Yeah. In fact, when a working man comes and offers a donation for the trust and things like that, the first thing I do is, hey, do you have enough? You've got young children, this, that. The first thing I do is that. Why? Because taking care of a family, etc. is important. Nobody denies that. It is important. It's a duty. At the same time, what is it you can do? Therefore, the idea came in Yatha Shakti. What you do will be Yatha Shakti, in keeping with what you can. You decide what you can. I have known billionaires who are stingy, and I have known people, billionaires, who give wholeheartedly also. Therefore, that is how it is. Okay, Annam Radhyam. Okay. Ye evam veda. Okay. Then he says, a few other ways of looking at Brahman in terms of values. Kshema iti vachi. Okay. Kshema iti vachi. Invoke Brahman as restraint in your speech. Invoke Brahman as restraint in your speech. How do you do that? Don't go bug all the time. Don't talk for the sake of talking. Don't talk to fill up the silence between two people. Enjoy the silence between two people. It can be good. If you can't understand my silence, how can you understand my words? Mystical statement, no? Hallmark card. Okay. But the idea is that, keep some maunam. Keep some maunam. What is maunam? Maunam, initially, stop interacting. Later on, stop your mental chatter. You keep chattering. Always a mental chatter. Books, psychologists have written books on this. What do you tell yourself when you talk to yourself? Don't talk to yourself. No, you can't help that. You will talk. There will be some chatter. Keep it positive. All that is fine. But then learn to quieten that chatter also. That is the final maunam. Kshemaha iti vachi. You are meditating on Brahman as Kshemaha. It's a discipline. You are being very awareful of what you are going to. Of what does this do? Makes you awareful of your thinking. Vak tapas. Be very, very careful of what you say, so that you don't have to say, I'm sorry, I take it back. Why did you say it? I'm sorry, I did not mean that. If you didn't mean that, why did you say it? My old students will know I told this long back, 40 years back, I've been saying this. Why do you have to say, I'm sorry, I don't mean it? Say what you mean and mean what you say. You don't have to say everything that you mean, okay? You can keep something for yourself. So, to understand that idea of restraint. Of course, this can be carried very far also. That's not also healthy. Like two sadhus are walking on the Ganga bank in the evening. Okay? And one person says, The other person says, Go another few minutes and say, They say, Then after that, again they are walking. Don't change the topic. Okay. So don't take it that far, all right? Okay. Kshemaha. Understand what it means, okay? All right. Yoga kshema iti pranapana yoho. Yoga kshema. Yoga kshema is not insurance. In India, everyone thinks yoga kshema is life insurance. They have hijacked that slogan. Because in the Gita, Krishna says, for my devotee, yoga kshemam vahamyaham. What is yoga? Apraptasya praptihi yoga. Getting what you have not had. What is kshemaha? Praptasya rakshanam kshemaha. Protecting what you have. Conservation. So he says, yoga and kshema invoke Brahman as yoga kshema in prana and apana. Apraptasya praptihi pranaha yogaha. Apana is kshemaha. Why? You are giving out what you don't want. All the carbon dioxide, etc. And preparing for the next inhalation. Yeah, next inhalation. So, invoke Brahman as yoga kshema. Different disciplines. You want to practice meditation? Yeah, both hai. How many types of meditation you want? Yeah, over 1,000. Yeah. Over 1,000 here. Take them. Yoga kshema iti. Gatiriti pad karmeti hastayoho. Invoke Brahman as what? Karma iti hastayoho. Your actions. Recognize, hey, this is possible only because of Ishvara. How can I act without Ishvara? Karma dikshaha is Ishvara, so every action is an offering to the Lord. Lord is there in every action of mine. Every action of mine is the Lord. Gatiriti padayoho. You are walking around. Gatihi, invoke Ishvara there itself. What is that Manasa Puja? Sancharam Pradakshana Vidihi. There is a Manasa Puja written by Shankara. There it says, me walking around is me doing Pradakshana for the Lord. That is the attitude you get in. You get that attitude into you. It is not when you are walking, you are thinking, Ishvara, Ishvara, Ishvara. That time, those type of walking you will do when you are going on a Padayatra. To Pandharpur you are going, Vithala, Vithala, you will stamp your leg and go, Vithala, Vithala. That's different, that's a different lesson. Or going to Shabrimala, just over on 15th. Okay. Every step, Swamye, Sharanam, Sharanam, Swamye. You will go on like that. Okay. That's different. You can't do that. Try doing that walking in Bombay. You're going for a morning walk also, you can't do it. Attitude. Hey, my walking is an offering. My actions are an offering. Attitude wise. This meditation is divinizing your attitudes. Okay. This is not something you're doing meditation. Yeah. That will happen in certain cases, but not on a everyday, everywhere basis. Yeah. You're running to catch a train. God, let me catch it. You want the Ishvara, Ishvara. Yeah. So the attitude, okay. Yeah. Vimukti iti payav. Okay. Vimukti iti. Discharging. Letting go. Where? In your excretory organ. You are letting go. Are you thinking of Ishvara when you are sitting on the toilet seat? No, no. Yeah. But though it's an action of letting go, you understand that letting go gives you joy. Because if you can't let go for 2 days, you will understand what it is. Yeah, letting go. Letting go. Okay. Iti manushi samajnaha. This is with respect to a human being. Ata daivim, now with respect to the heavenly forces, natural forces. Triptihi iti vrishtav. Triptihi, satisfaction in rain. What has rain got to do with your satisfaction? Because rain means grains, food, annam. And there is one thing about annam, good food. That's why Annadanam is considered among the greatest of danams. because the receiver is bound to say enough. You give money. The guy has a 5 crore project. You gave him 10 crores. You want some more? If you are giving, I'll take. People will say that, no? Because you can always do with some more. You can make the project bigger, you can make something for running, all that, so many things are there you can do. Anything, you can always say some more, some more. Food, what will you say? You're sitting down and eating. Okay. There was one Mota Ramananda in Rishikesh. One Swamiji called him for food, just to show all of us how much this man can eat. So Swamiji asked him, Maharaji, kal Bhiksha ke liye aa jana. He said, okay, I'll come for Bhiksha. Kya khayege aap? Whatever you want, we'll give it to you. थोड़ा पूरी खाएगा दही के साथ. Strange combination, but that's what he wanted. पूरी खाएगा दही के साथ और थोड़ा मिष्टान ले लेगा उसका. Some sweet along with that. He ate puris made of 1.5 kilos of atta, half a kilo of dahi, and don't ask me how many jalebis. But he had to say enough at the end of it. Na? Even a big eater like him had to say, Alam, bas ho gaya, bas. Abhi, Maharaj ji, aur ek puri? No, both. Mahapuran ho gaya. He has to say, I'm full. Trupti, annam. So, vrishtau in the rains, okay. Yeah. Balamiti vidyuti, lightning, flash of lightning, strength. Yeah. I'm the god of lightning and thunder. Nordic philosophy, Thor, here Indra, always someone, okay, god of lightning and thunder, okay. Yashaha iti pashushu, yashaha, fame in the cattle that you have, because cattle was money, name, fame, wealth. Okay, so yashaha, invoke, okay, in your cattle, etc., as fame. Jyotihi iti nakshatreshu, in the stars that you see in the night sky, invoke Brahman as a light itself. After all, he is Jyotisham Jyotihi, the light of all lights. Therefore, invoke him like that. Each now becomes a meditation, which you can do. Yeah. Okay, Jyotihi iti nakshatru. Prajatihi amritam anandam iti upaste. In a sexual organ, upaste, prajati, procreation, amritam, immortality, anandam, joy, experiential joy. Invoke that in the sexual act. Everything is sacred. Many people who talk Taittiriiya Upanishad will skip this line. Why? What are you feeling guilty about? Ayo, this all should not be said. Who said that? The Rishi is saying it. If you're saying it, you have this thing that whole thing is dirty. That is Victorian thinking coming in. The remnants of colonial thinking coming into your mind. Understand this well. Okay? Anandam iti, amritam iti, prajati iti. It is not only procreation. It's everything. It's your life as a whole. Okay? Anandam iti. All right. Sarvam iti akashe. In Akasha, Akasha covers everything. Brahman is everything. Invoke Akasham Brahmeti Upasita. Elsewhere there is a statement like that. Contemplate on Akasha as Brahman. Okay. Meaning the all-pervading nature of Brahman. Tat pratisthate iti upasita. Okay. Yeah. meditate on Brahman as the Aadhar and the support for everything. Because Brahman is the basis for everything. Therefore, invoke that, the support for everything. I'm feeling alone, I don't have anyone support you. Lord is in your corner, what are you bothered about? Lord is with you, what are you bothered about? Oh, I'm all alone. What all alone? Yeah. What? Swamiji, Bombay is such a dangerous place. Even Saif Ali Khan was attacked in his home. Yeah, so there is a learning there that real life is not like being a hero in the Hindi movie. If you confront a man with a knife, be ready to be cut. Finished. Simple as that. Yeah. Simple as that. Yeah. He doesn't know anything about fighting. His house is filled with artifacts. There's so many things he could have used as a weapon. 101 things are available. My house is comparatively bare, but I can think of 50 weapons right here. If somebody attacks me with a knife. But that's real life. Okay. What are you feeling so scared about? The Lord is with you. So his weapons are there all over. I don't see any weapons around. The world is full of weapons. Invoke. Okay. Have the eyes to see it. Okay. Now I am digressing slightly. Everyone may not be able to do that. That's okay. But if you are a warrior, you will do that. If you are not a warrior, but still you can have the courage. You are not unsupported, not alone. Not unsupported, not alone. Okay. Okay. Tat pratishtha posita. Tat pratishtavan bhavati says, you invoke Lord as your support, you will get support. From unexpected sources, support will come. This is true. Yeah. I have always walked alone in some of the major things I have done, and it's always been supported. God knows from where, God alone knows from where the support has come. It's always from the Lord. The Lord is the support. Yeah. You think anything else is a support? Everything else is nimittam. Everything else is nimittam, instrument. Lord is the support, nothing else. Tan maha iti pasita. Invoke him as the greatness itself. Mahan bhavati. You will become great, he says. Avantara phalam, okay? This is the punya also is mentioning in between. Invoke him as greatness itself, you will become great. Tan manaha iti upasita. Mano brahme iti upasita. Think of contemplate on the mind as Brahman. Manavan bhavati. You will become a great thinker. I think all of us should do that a bit. Thoda thinking clarity aa jayega. It's good. Because thinking is one of the most important things for anything. Because if you can think, there is nothing you can't learn. All you need is an appropriate pramana. What is it that you cannot learn? The world is changing, so let it change. You learn new skills because you can think. If you can think, you can learn. That's why, what is the first prayer that a child is formally given?
Gayatri Mantra.
The Gayatri Mantra, yeah. Brahma, it's called Brahma Gayatri. Because you're invoking Brahman there. You're not invoking Gayatri Devi. There is no Gayatri Devi, okay? That is later creation. Yeah, Brahman is being invoked. Why? And asking for clear thinking. Grace my mind so that I can think. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. Why? You can think, what is it that you can't learn? What is it that you can't achieve? Skills that you are using today, you didn't even think would exist at one time. When you were a kid, did any of you think all these skills you will need in life? Yeah. But now it is there, and you are slipping into it. Yeah. Manavan bhavati. Yeah. Okay. Tan annamiti upasita, he says, tan annamiti upasita. So sorry, tan namaniti upasita. Invoke him in the namaskara, meaning bow down to him. Namyante tasmai kama. All things that you desire will bow down to you. Okay. Yeah. Again, it is Punya Papa we are talking about here. Yeah. So invoke, or how do you invoke? You bring in a sense of surrender in your life to Ishvara. Okay. How else are you going to invoke? Oh, Ishvara is surrendering to me. I will invoke Ishvara and surrender. No, you bring the sense of surrender into your life. You know, in Mahabharata, what was the most difficult astra to face? Most difficult astra. Even someone like Bhishma, Drona, or Arjuna couldn't have faced it and fought against it. There was one astra like that. Yes, Rohit, you are right. Narayana astra. The only way to survive Narayana astra was, I think there was some artificial intelligence used in it. You know why? The only way to survive Narayana astra is to drop your weapons and bow down to it. It belonged to Narayana himself, to the Lord himself. So if it's bow down, that's the only way to fight it. It'll leave you alone. It won't harm you. Yeah. Namanati. You know, the sense of surrender. Surrender to Ishvara in your heart, in your functioning. Yeah, Ishvara and I are one and the same as consciousness. That's true. No doubt about it. That is it. Functioning. That's it. In functioning, there is a sense of surrender. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Namanti tasmai kamaha. Tad brahmeti upasita. Here Brahman is not taken literally as Brahman, okay? Brahman is taken as one, that which is great, that which is exalted, etc. Then what happens is Brahmavan bhavati. If you take it literally, Brahman is also okay. If you meditate on Brahman, you are Brahman, you will discover your Brahman, that's also fine. Brahmavan bhavati. Okay. Tad brahmanaha parimara iti upasita, parimaraha iti upasita. Invoke Brahman as destruction. This I will not teach you. Okay. This particular one, see, any of the other ones, if you want details, none of you are going to do it. That's why I am not explaining the details. But this detail I will not teach you. Okay. I know the details, but I won't teach it to you. Okay. Why? Tad brahmanaha parimaraha iti upasita. Think of, invoke Brahman as destruction. Then what will happen? Prayene mriyate dvishantaha sapatnaha. All your enemies along with their armies will die, he says. These are the basic for certain tantric rites, okay? Yeah. It can be done. It is there is a way of doing it. Yeah. Think of him as destruction. Finished. Ho jayega. Of course, there are certain mantras, etc. also involved. Otherwise, it won't work. Pari ye apriyaha bhratavyaha. Even those who dislike you, even if their relatives will go. Now you know why I am not going to teach you. By mistake, if you all do something, gadbad ho jayega. Yeah. If enemies are troubling you, etc., come and tell me. We will do what is necessary. That's a different thing. Okay. But there are 101 ways of handling it without going into this. Okay. Though there are methods. There are methods. Okay. Hi. Okay. Okay. Apriya. Okay. Apriya bhrata. So why should the Upanishad mention something like this? Because it is there. What is the job of the Upanishad? To reveal what it is. What is. what you cannot figure out with your pramanas. With your 5 pramanas, what you can't figure out, Shabda is the 6th pramana. If it is there, the Upanishad will mention it. But you need not do everything that the Upanishad says, because these are all sadhanas. So you pick up what is necessary for you. Okay? Yeah. If you are happy feeling people are very this thing, etc., all right, I will tell you all something. There are a lot of enemies, etc., that you are having and you are being troubled by them. Chant the Sudarshana mantra. I will give you a simpler one, not this dangerous one. Chant the Sudarshana mantra. Yeah. People keeping their this thing on and chant the Sudarshana mantra. Chant Saundarya Lahari. It will take care of your enemies. I don't think anybody has realized that part of Saundarya Lahari here. Yeah. Chant Saundarya Lahari. Yeah. Chant Tantrokta Devi Suktam that comes in Durga Saptashati. It will work. Chant the last sloka of the Durga Saptashati that is summarized in 7 verses. Yeah, so that is enough. Both ho gaya na. If you have a lot of enemies in life, first of all, why are you inimical? I don't know. But in case you have, here, both ho gaya. This much I can say. Okay. All right. Yasyayam Purushe Yashas Ava Aditye. And he says the final upasana. What is that? Yasyayam Purushe Sa Eva Aditye. Aditya was the symbol of Ishvara in those days. Vedic days, there were no temples, therefore there were no murtis. Temples came around the Pauranic age, that is around Mahabharata time. Okay? When the transition was happening from Dwapara Yuga to Kali Yuga. The transition time, people said, is going to be more Pauranic oriented worship, etc. So the temples and all started coming up there. So in Mahabharata times, some of the first temples came in. Okay, and the first temple was, the linga was the deity for Ishvara. Ishvara meant Ishvara, linga. Lingyate anene iti. By this you understand there is Ishvara. First symbol was that. Before that, all nature. Aditya, Surya Bhagavan, Surya Narayana. Even now, for your sannyasa, etc., Surya Narayana is a witness. Yeah. You do all your rituals, Homa, Yaga, etc. is done. The Gayatri Homa is the last one that you will do. After that, Surya Narayana is a witness. Then the Homa, etc. is concluded. You go to the Ganges bank, Surya Narayana becomes your witness. Okay. Yeah. So similarly here, Surya, Aditya. The one that is in the Surya is the one that is there in the Purusha, he says. Aham Brahmasmi iti. Final upasana is what this only. It's not upasana, it is Nididhyasanam now. Yeah. Yes. But don't make it a bhakti oriented thing. This is born with understanding that Ishvara and I are one and the same. As consciousness, there is no difference. This has to be out of understanding. Please don't try to make this bhakti, because people do that. I have heard it also. What is that famous one? Ikkade undu Panduranga, akkade undadi. I am sure everyone follows that. Ikkade, here, Panduranga. Panduranga is there also in Pandharpur. Panduranga is a manifestation of Vishnu, okay? Ishvara. Akkade undu Panduranga. There Panduranga is there. Ikkade undadi is there here also. Up to here, beautiful. Up to here, it is beautiful. Then here is where bhakti comes in. As bhakti, it is fine. Potama, Pandharpuru, Potama. Let's go to Pandharpur. Arre? Abhi bola udhar hai, idhar hai, idhar hai, udhar hai. Now where are you going to Pandharpur? I just said he's here in my heart. Then why do you have to go there? Out of bhakti, that is fine. Don't reduce nididhyasanam to bhakti. When he says yaschayam aditya, yaschayam purushe, that's a recognition. That's meant to be a recognition. At the most, it can become ahangra upasana. Now, what is ahangra upasana? Without a complete understanding, you're still thinking Ishvara and you are one and the same. Okay? The understanding is not complete, it is a concept for you. So, you are working on that concept so that it can become knowledge. That's called ahangra upasana, where the object and worship and you are taken as one. They will say this in tantric worship, etc. Shivo bhutva shivam bhajet. Think of yourself as Shiva and then worship Shiva. Yeah?
Even in Sandhya Vandanam, it says, Asav Adityo Brahma,
Yeah.
Brahmaiva Satyam, Brahmaivaha Bhasmi.
Exactly, that's what you are supposed to understand. That's supposed to be understood. Therefore, you are laying grounds for that thinking. This is called apata jnanam. You will start, hopefully, you have done Sandhya Vandanam enough to question it. But if you are rushing through Sandhya Vandanam because you won't get your morning coffee without Sandhya Vandanam, it doesn't work. Sandhya Vandanam, by the way, for others, it's the morning worship. Every person who is initiated into the sacred thread is supposed to do. Okay, yeah. So the statement is there. This gives you apata jnanam. Some sort of this thing enough to strike your curiosity so that you will have jignasa, the desire to know what it is all about. How can that be? If you are asking that question, how can that be? Then you are starting on the track of trying to know. Yeah, because two things are possible. What nonsense? How can I be the same? Then you are going downwards. You are going away from it. If you are saying, how can it be? Then you are coming towards knowledge. Because there is a curiosity to learn, to understand. Okay. So here you can take it as either as ahangra upasana or nididhyasanam itself. Okay. Yeah. So that is that. There is a little bit left, but I think next class we will have a summary of the whole thing and then complete the whole thing also, complete that. Okay. So any questions, anything on the whole Taittiriiya, whatever we have done, so we have done a lot. Taittiriiya covers a huge range of things. Okay. Right from upasanas onwards, from the Shikshavali, right up to Bhraguvali, everything. So any questions anywhere, please come with that. We'll handle it next time, and this. I think after that we'll start the Taittiriiya Upanishad. First I thought straight away let us jump to Mandukya Karika, but there are some people who have not had enough Upanishad exposure. So I thought for their sake I will do Taittiriiya first and then go into Mandukya Karika. Normally I prefer from Taittiriiya straight go into Mandukya Karika, but thoda we will take a small turn and then go to Mandukya Karika. So Taittiriiya Upanishad we will do. Okay. So good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.